if I'm not, if people aren't complaining somewhere, then I've failed in some degree.
I totally agree. Getting the messages or hearing from the promoter, we had a walkout and they just sent this. I'm like, that feels so amazing inside.
I would on 2 tours ago, I could see the walkouts. I had almost every single show. I had people walking out. I had people, some quietly, and I could just see them. And some were very vocal. Some woman tried to throw beer at me in Tampa, and people going, fuck you, motherfucker. And and I had on that tour, I had a code with my tour manager because it got pretty hairy a couple times. And I had, if I asked for a certain beer, then that meant get all my shit out of the green room, put it on this chair, have the exit door there. I'm not going to do an encore. Keep it going like I might do an encore. And then I'm getting out of there. That just meant I'm running to the bus.
Because you could sense where this is going.
Yeah,
like you could sense
yeah. And then the last tour I did for Oh Come On, I was in Pittsburgh, and it was a theater where, sometimes they just supply, it's a union thing or whatever, there's security there. Whether you ask for it or not, there's a security, guy or 2 guys in the front of the stage. And I was, and also, I don't do any, outside of the I'm from the future thing, I don't do any really hard shit up front.
Yeah.
I rarely do. I like ease into it, so that by the time you're in the middle of it, you're like, everybody. I like to think that even if you hate something that I'm saying, at least there was 20 minutes of benign shit that everybody can laugh at, universal stuff. Yeah. And so I wasn't even into the hard shit yet, and I whatever, I don't remember the exact bit, something about Trump or whatever the fuck it was. And I'm at least 20, 25 minutes in, and this guy to the left, security guard to the downstage left, is in front. He's got the windbreaker, black windbreaker with white block security lettering on the back, and he just goes, "This is fucking bullshit. I fucking quit." And he tears off his jacket and he throws it down. He walks up the aisle to the theater doors, and the best thing about it visually is like it was in the center, right? The 2 doors, and it's backlit.
Yeah.
So he opens the door, there's a flood of light, and then the door slowly closes, and you can hear him, like, he's like, "Motherfucker, this," and then, but you also see him yelling and point, but you can't hear him very well because
holy shit.
And everyone thought it was a bit, especially where it came in. It was like, you couldn't script it any better. Like, if you were going to script a guy making a scene, and I've had plants before, I've done shows where there are plants in the audience, so everybody was waiting for the rest of the bit, waiting for him to come back, and like, wow, that's a great commitment, because he stayed there for 20 minutes pretending he was security.
That's
it was nuts.
I wish you had that on video. I've thought this before, because sometimes when you're on stage, I've seen the same guys you're talking about, and a lot of times they're seated facing the audience, because what they're supposed to do
these guys were both standing facing the audience.
Yeah, facing the audience. And sometimes just like, you're in your act and you're just kind of working through it. And as you kind of maybe are transitioning to something, you turn and you'll see the guy. Sometimes you see the guy laughing and you're like, oh, that's kind of, it just kind of, sometimes you see the guy sleeping, sometimes you see the guy gesturing to somebody. But I've always, it's run through my mind, like, what if this guy really didn't enjoy this? Mm-hmm. And you had the greatest example of that. Like, a guy quit his job.
He quit.
God, it's amazing.
He quit. And to my credit, I was like, he's just upset, and I get it. He didn't sign up for this. Don't let him don't let him leave. Let him come back. And,
he's terrible at his job. We can all agree on that.
He did not do well with security. Well, he was going to beat the shit out of me. So he was great at his job. He kicked himself out. He hoisted himself by his own petard.
He dragged himself out.
To save me. It was pretty selfless.
Yeah, I bet that you've probably had some epic walkouts,
Oh yeah. I mean, over the years too, man. And vocal, fuck you, motherfucker. And the woman in Tampa she came down the aisle. She went to throw her beer. It barely like clipped the stage, and she'd throw her beer. And then people in the balcony were kind of yelling at her, and she literally walked. Can I do this?
Yeah, sure.
So she literally walked all the way up this long. It's a theater.
Yeah.
All the way up, both middle fingers, and doing circling like this. Fuck you, motherfuckers! Fuck you, fucking assholes! I didn't all this shit all the way up.
Wow.
So, to the point where it was entertaining.
Yeah,
It was
sure.
like, it completely fucked up the flow, as you might imagine.
And it's important to have passion. She's a passionate person,
Yeah,
you know.
she believed in, pro-choice or whatever it was.
Or whatever it was, yeah.
Probably
Cheers.
not pro-choice. No.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bert and Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call two bears, one cave.